William Shakespeare's Macbeth, written in the early 17th century, is a quintessential exploration of ambition, power, and moral decay. Set against the backdrop of Scotland's tumultuous history, the play reflects the political anxieties of Shakespeare's time, particularly during the reign of James I, who had a vested interest in the themes of kingship and divine right. Shakespeare, born in 1564, emerged as a preeminent playwright and poet, whose works often grappled with complex human emotions and ethical dilemmas. Macbeth stands out as a prime example of his ability to intertwine historical context with universal themes, making it a profound study of the human condition. The genre of Macbeth is classified as a tragedy, a form that typically centers around a noble protagonist whose downfall is precipitated by a tragic flaw. In this case, Macbeth's insatiable ambition and susceptibility to external influences, particularly the witches, lead him down a path of moral corruption and violence. The play's significance lies not only in its rich characterization and intricate plot, but also in its exploration of themes such as fate versus free will, the nature of evil, and the psychological effects of guilt and paranoia. Shakespeare's ability to create a compelling narrative that resonates with audiences across centuries underscores the timelessness of the play, inviting readers to reflect on the darker aspects of ambition and morality. From the outset, Macbeth establishes a foreboding atmosphere that sets the stage for its exploration of ambition and moral ambiguity. The opening scene introduces the three witches, whose cryptic utterances, "fair is foul and foul is fair," immediately signal the play's central theme of the blurring of moral boundaries. This paradoxical statement encapsulates the essence of the play, suggesting that appearances can be deceiving and that the pursuit of power may lead one to embrace actions that are inherently corrupt. The witches function as agents of chaos, foreshadowing the turmoil that will ensue as Macbeth grapples with his ambition and the consequences of his actions. Their presence introduces a supernatural element, which, in Elizabethan times, was often associated with evil and moral transgression, thereby heightening the play's dramatic tension. As the narrative unfolds, we witness Macbeth's transformation from a valorous warrior to a tyrannical ruler. Initially introduced as a noble figure who earns accolades for his bravery in battle, Macbeth's character begins to shift as he encounters the witches, who prophesy his rise to power. This encounter catalyzes his latent ambition, prompting a moral conflict that ultimately leads to his tragic downfall. Shakespeare skillfully illustrates the psychological turmoil that accompanies Macbeth's ambition, particularly through the character of Lady Macbeth, whose own thirst for power exacerbates Macbeth's moral decline. Their shared ambition becomes a destructive force that spirals into madness and violence, culminating in a series of heinous acts that alienate them from humanity and each other. The significance of Macbeth to modern readers is multifaceted. It serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the moral compromises that often accompany the pursuit of power. The play's exploration of guilt and the psychological consequences of one's actions resonates profoundly in contemporary society, where the implications of ambition can be seen in various spheres, from politics to corporate culture. Furthermore, the play's rich language and vivid imagery offer a timeless reflection on the complexities of human nature, inviting readers to engage with the text on both intellectual and emotional levels. The themes of betrayal, moral ambiguity, and the quest for power remain relevant, prompting ongoing discussions about ethics and the human condition. In conclusion, Shakespeare's Macbeth is a profound exploration of ambition and its inherent dangers, set within a rich historical context that resonates with audiences across time. The play's tragic narrative, complex characters, and thematic depth invite readers to reflect on the moral implications of ambition and the nature of evil. As modern readers grapple with the complexities of ambition in their own lives, Macbeth remains a compelling and relevant work, urging us to consider the fine line between aspiration and moral decay. The interplay of supernatural elements and psychological realism further enhances its literary significance, ensuring that it continues to captivate and provoke thought in contemporary discourse. In the early scenes of Macbeth, Shakespeare intricately weaves the elements of ambition, fate, and the supernatural, effectively setting the stage for the unfolding tragedy. The play opens with the enigmatic presence of the three witches, whose cryptic prophecies serve as catalysts for the events that follow. Their chant, "Foul is fair and fair is foul," encapsulates the theme of moral ambiguity that permeates the narrative. This paradoxical statement foreshadows the duality of Macbeth's character and the deceptive nature of appearances, suggesting that what seems benevolent may mask malevolent intentions. As the scene shifts to the heath, we are introduced to Macbeth and Banquo, who are returning from a victorious battle. The stark contrast between the witches' malevolent predictions and the valorous deeds of Macbeth establishes an immediate tension between fate and free will. Macbeth's first line, "So foul and fair a day I have not seen," echoes the witches' earlier words, indicating that he is already entangled in their web of prophecy. This moment suggests a preordained connection between Macbeth and the supernatural, raising questions about his agency in the forthcoming events. Banquo's skepticism, evident in his questioning of the witches, serves as a foil to Macbeth's burgeoning ambition. He articulates doubt regarding the witches' nature and intentions, asking, "Are ye fantastical, or that indeed, which outwardly ye show?" This inquiry highlights the theme of appearance versus reality and sets the stage for Macbeth's internal conflict. Banquo's caution serves as a moral counterpoint to Macbeth's ambition, positioning him as the voice of reason amidst the chaos of supernatural influences. The witches' proclamations, "All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis! All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor! All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter," ignite Macbeth's latent ambition. The titles they bestow upon him not only reflect his current status, but also foreshadow his ascent to power. Macbeth's immediate reaction, characterized by astonishment and disbelief, reveals his internal struggle with the implications of their words. He questions, "If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir," suggesting an initial reluctance to take action against the natural order. However, the arrival of Ross and Angus, who confirm Macbeth's new title as Thane of Cawdor, serves to reinforce the witch's prophecies and catalyze his ambition. The rapid succession of events, wherein Macbeth transitions from a loyal subject to a potential usurper, illustrates the play's exploration of ambition's corrupting influence. Macbeth's soliloquy, "Two truths are told," as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme, reveals his growing obsession with the idea of kingship, indicating that he is already contemplating the means by which he might seize the crown. Banquo's perceptive comment, "And oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths," serves as a cautionary note, emphasizing the danger inherent in the witches' prophecies. Banquo's awareness of the potential deceit underlying their words contrasts sharply with Macbeth's naive acceptance of the prophecies, illustrating the complexity of human ambition and the peril of succumbing to temptation. As the narrative progresses to Duncan's palace, the theme of loyalty versus ambition becomes increasingly pronounced. Duncan's praise of Macbeth and Banquo underscores the bonds of loyalty and honor that Macbeth is about to betray. His declaration, "There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face," reflects his tragic naivety. He fails to perceive the treachery brewing within Macbeth. This moment foreshadows Duncan's murder, highlighting the tragic irony of misplaced trust. Moreover, the introduction of Malcolm as Duncan's heir complicates Macbeth's ambition further. Duncan's announcement that Malcolm will be named the Prince of Cumberland serves as an obstacle to Macbeth's aspirations, igniting his desire for power. Macbeth's aside, "The greatest is behind," indicates his growing fixation on the throne and his willingness to consider regicide as a means to fulfill his ambitions. The tension between Macbeth's loyalty to Duncan and his burgeoning desire for power sets the stage for the moral disintegration that follows. In these early scenes, Shakespeare effectively establishes the central conflicts that will drive the narrative forward. The struggle between ambition and morality, the interplay of fate and free will, and the deceptive nature of appearances. The character of Macbeth is introduced as a once noble warrior whose encounter with the supernatural ignites a tragic descent into ambition and moral decay. The seeds of treachery are sown, and as the plot develops, The consequences of these early actions will reverberate throughout the play, leading to a catastrophic unraveling of both Macbeth's psyche and the natural order itself. Through rich characterizations and intricate thematic explorations, Shakespeare compels the audience to reflect on the complexities of ambition and the human condition, ensuring that Macbeth remains a timeless and relevant exploration of moral ambiguity. The intricate dynamics of character relationships in Macbeth are pivotal to the play's rising action and thematic development, particularly as they relate to ambition, guilt, and the nature of evil. In the early scenes, the camaraderie between Macbeth and Banquo is established, highlighting their bond as warriors and friends. However, as Macbeth becomes increasingly consumed by his ambition, this relationship begins to fray. Banquo's loyalty to Duncan juxtaposes Macbeth's growing treachery, setting the stage for a tragic unraveling. Macbeth's aside upon learning of Duncan's visit: "The Prince of Cumberland, that is a step on which I must fall down, or else o'erleap," reveals his internal conflict, foreshadowing his descent into moral corruption. The metaphor of stepping over obstacles illustrates Macbeth's willingness to forsake his honor for power, a theme that resonates deeply throughout the play. Lady Macbeth's character becomes increasingly central as the narrative progresses, particularly in her interactions with Macbeth. The couple's relationship is marked by a shared ambition, yet it also reveals the complexities of gender roles and power dynamics. Lady Macbeth's fierce determination to spur Macbeth into action is encapsulated in her chilling invocation to the spirits. "Come, you spirits, that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here." This plea for ruthlessness underscores her desire to transcend traditional feminine qualities and embrace a more masculine aggression, as she believes that Macbeth lacks the necessary ruthlessness to seize the throne. Her belief that Macbeth is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way highlights her perception of him as weak, which only intensifies her resolve to manipulate him. The contrast between her unyielding ambition and his hesitancy serves to heighten the tension in their relationship and foreshadows the eventual collapse of their moral compass. As the narrative unfolds, the rising action is underscored by a series of deceptive appearances and moral quandaries. Macbeth's soliloquy in Act 1, Scene 7, reveals the depth of his internal struggle as he contemplates the assassination of Duncan. His contemplation of the act: "If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well, it were done quickly," demonstrates his desire for resolution, yet he is acutely aware of the moral repercussions. The phrase, "the be-all and the end-all," suggests his yearning for an end to his turmoil, while simultaneously recognizing the inescapable consequences of his actions. This moment is crucial as it encapsulates the theme of ambition versus morality, revealing Macbeth's awareness of the inherent dangers of his desires. The tension escalates further when Lady Macbeth enters, fully prepared to orchestrate Duncan's murder. Her chilling command, "Leave all the rest to me," signifies her complete control over the situation and her husband, reinforcing her role as the primary instigator of their malevolent actions. Macbeth's reluctance is palpable, yet Lady Macbeth's manipulation, "Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under't," reveals the duplicity required for their ascent to power. This imagery of the flower and the serpent encapsulates the play's exploration of appearances versus reality, a theme that permeates the narrative and ultimately leads to the couple's downfall. As Duncan arrives at Macbeth's castle, the atmosphere is laden with dramatic irony, as the audience is acutely aware of the impending treachery. Duncan's naive comments about the castle being a pleasant seat highlight the deceptive tranquility that masks the chaos brewing within. The interplay of hospitality and betrayal is further illustrated through Lady Macbeth's feigned warmth, as she welcomes Duncan while concealing her murderous intentions. The juxtaposition of her outward demeanor with her inner ambition underscores the play's exploration of the duality of human nature, where characters present one face to the world while hiding their true intentions. The rising action culminates in the moment of Duncan's murder, a pivotal turning point that irrevocably alters the characters and their relationships. As Macbeth succumbs to his ambition, he initiates a chain of events that leads to further violence and moral decay. The consequences of their actions begin to unravel their relationship, as guilt and paranoia set in. Lady Macbeth, initially the more resolute partner, becomes increasingly fraught with remorse, illustrating the corrosive effects of their ambition. The psychological unraveling of both characters serves as a poignant commentary on the destructive nature of unchecked ambition and the moral compromises that lead to their ultimate downfall. In conclusion, the interplay of character relationships, rising action, and thematic development in Macbeth reveals the complexities of ambition and the human condition. Through the tragic trajectory of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, Shakespeare explores the insidious nature of ambition, the moral ambiguity of their choices, and the inevitable consequences of their actions. This intricate web of relationships and thematic explorations ensures that Macbeth remains a powerful and resonant examination of the darker facets of human ambition and the fragility of morality. As the play reaches its climax, the tension escalates dramatically, particularly in the scenes leading up to Duncan's murder. Macbeth's soliloquy in Act 2, Scene 1, reveals his profound internal conflict, encapsulated in the haunting vision of the dagger that beckons him to commit regicide. This moment crystallizes the play's exploration of ambition and moral decay. The line, "Is this a dagger which I see before me?" serves as a poignant symbol of Macbeth's fractured psyche, where ambition and guilt intertwine. The dagger, a manifestation of his murderous intent, not only signifies the act he is about to commit, but also reflects his mental disarray, indicating that the reality of his ambition is steeped in madness and moral ambiguity. Macbeth's contemplation of the bloody business underscores the weight of his impending choice, revealing the duality of his character. On one hand, he is a valiant warrior, celebrated for his bravery. On the other, he is succumbing to the corrosive influence of unchecked ambition. The phrase, "words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives," encapsulates the paralysis that often accompanies moral dilemmas. His hesitance is palpable as he grapples with the consequences of his actions, aware that the act of murder will irrevocably alter his existence. This internal struggle is emblematic of Shakespeare's larger commentary on the nature of ambition, how it can propel individuals toward greatness while simultaneously leading them to their ruin. Lady Macbeth's role in this pivotal moment cannot be understated. Her earlier manipulation of Macbeth serves as a catalyst for his descent into moral chaos. Upon his return from Duncan's chamber, Macbeth's admission, "I have done the deed," illustrates the irreversible step he has taken. The stark simplicity of this declaration contrasts sharply with the elaborate machinations that led to this moment, highlighting the play's exploration of the consequences that follow ambition. Lady Macbeth's response, full of bravado and cold determination, reveals her own complicity in the moral decay that ensues. She urges Macbeth to wash his hands of the blood, saying, "A little water clears us of this deed," which starkly contrasts with the profound psychological torment that both characters will face. The aftermath of Duncan's murder marks a significant turning point in the play, where the consequences of ambition become increasingly evident. Macbeth's initial triumph quickly dissipates as he grapples with paranoia and guilt, leading to a series of tragic decisions. The theme of appearance versus reality is further crystallized in this act. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth must don the false face to conceal their heinous act, a metaphor that runs throughout the play, suggesting that beneath the veneer of nobility and ambition lies a depth of treachery and moral corruption. As the narrative progresses into Act 2, the tension heightens with Banquo's ominous dream of the Weird Sisters. His line, "I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters," signals the inescapable influence of fate and prophecy, which looms over Macbeth's actions. The interplay between free will and destiny becomes a central theme in the unfolding drama. Banquo's suspicions about Macbeth's ascent to power foreshadow the unraveling of their friendship and Macbeth's descent into tyranny. The foreshadowing of Banquo's murder, which Macbeth orchestrates out of fear of the prophecy that Banquo's descendants will inherit the throne, underscores the lengths to which ambition will drive him. The psychological unraveling of both Macbeth and Lady Macbeth becomes increasingly apparent as the play progresses. Macbeth's hallucination of Banquo's ghost at the banquet scene serves as a powerful manifestation of his guilt and paranoia. His descent into madness is marked by fragmented speech and erratic behavior as he grapples with the consequences of his ambition. The banquet scene crystallizes the theme of guilt, revealing how ambition, once realized, turns into a burden that haunts the ambitious. Lady Macbeth's initial strength begins to wane as she becomes increasingly consumed by guilt, ultimately leading to her tragic demise. In conclusion, the climax of Macbeth serves as a profound exploration of ambition, guilt, and the moral consequences of unchecked desires. Shakespeare masterfully weaves a narrative that illustrates the fragility of morality in the face of ambition, suggesting that the pursuit of power can lead to self-destruction. As Macbeth and Lady Macbeth spiral into madness, the play serves as a timeless reminder of the dangers inherent in the quest for power and the moral complexities that accompany human ambition. The tragic fate of both characters resonates with audiences, inviting reflection on the darker aspects of the human condition and the eternal struggle between ambition and ethical integrity.